Love and space. Kirk's had plenty of it. The Elan of Troyes, Miramani, Kalinda, Nona, Drusilla, the list goes on. A girl on every planet, most of them even humanoid. Mr. Spock, too, has had his share of women trying to melt his hard Vulcan heart. Layla, Droxine, Zarabeth, and even a female Romulan commander. In this episode, it's Dr. Leonard McCoy's turn to find love. We know he was once married before he joined Starfleet and that the marriage ended in divorce. In our interstellar travels, we met one of the doctor's girlfriends, or a likeness of her, in the Man Trap. This time, it's going to be the real thing for our southern country doctor. Now, for the world is hollow, and I have touched the sky.
Tell me about the women in your world, Captain.
The only thing I was going to hope to do different was do more love stories once I heard about the woman, the problem, situation. I received a visit from the head of network research, and he said to me he was there to help me. They had done a lot of research. I said, okay, well, how do you help me boost the ratings?
Let me help. 100 years or so from now, I believe, a famous novelist will write a classic using that theme. He'll recommend those 3 words even over I love you.
And he said, well, the only way he could see to do it was to broaden our base of women viewers. We had some very loyal women viewers, but the great majority of women, according to his research, were terrified at the thought of space.
Captain, I'm...
Uhura, you're the only one who can do it. I'll be right there.
Yes, sir.
They needed parameters. In other words, in ordinary, regular, everyday TV, if you're going to do a story about a woman, don't do it on a mountaintop, do it in a valley.
That is good. Is there a woman for you?
No, there isn't.
The common thought was, of course, that he was had an unhappy marriage, divorce, with a daughter whose name was Joanne, who we never got to. We were going to do a series about her. Not a series, but an episode with her.
Honesty is usually wise.
And, of course, the 3rd year, they sent us down the sewer. We didn't get to do that. Would have been interesting. They were talking about bringing her on board.
Mr. Spock, you seem to understand these people. You will deal with them.
We respectfully request that you take us to Eden.
I have orders to the contrary. This is not a passenger ship.
Herbert, 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 Herbert.
The hippie one. I can't even remember the name. That's my least favorite.
I'm sure that had they brought her on board, that our captain would have had eyes for her in some way that could upset the hell out of McCoy, I tell you that.
It all seems rather indecent to me.
But he is a Southerner out of the South, and I think just was such an unhappy guy that he joined the service, decided he would, abandon what practice he had. And that's about all that was really ever known about him or thought about it.
You have lived a lonely life?
Yes. Very lonely.
This episode first aired during Star Trek's third and final season. Our audience was declining, and everyone connected to the show was feeling pressure from the network. Although we beat the Klingons and the Romulans, we eventually were defeated in the ratings war. In past seasons, we had been up against shows like My Three Sons and Gomer Pyle. The last year we were on the air, our competition was Judd for the Defense. In the 3 years we were on the network, we never did better than 54th place. But at that time, who would ever have thought what a phenomenon Star Trek would become over the years?
Look at me. Look at me.
On a personal level, I had been trained classically, and so I was into the Shakespeare hero. I had come off of, before Star Trek, I'd come off of the greatest human hero of all, I think. Alexander the Great had conquered the known world.
If I'm to be the woman of a Caesar, can't I know what you're up to?
He was young and apparently beautiful, and he rode his horses, and he had, he had all the components of what we think of being heroic.
And before I put you in the brig, there's a little something I owe you.
And I had played him, and then my next big gig was Star Trek, so I think I brought some of Alexander the Great to Captain Kirk.
A canal, and with it we'll bring the water from the lake right to the lodge. And we can expand the system, see? And irrigate the fields and double the food supply.
Dictatorship by computer. Decisions made by a cold, hard, calculating entity that leaves no room for dissent. It doesn't get more efficient than that. But it's hard to imagine a less compassionate form of government than a computer. In Star Trek, these electronic despots, fortunately, never survived beyond the end of the episode, thanks, of course, to James T. Kirk.